Hey there, wellness entrepreneur. Welcome back. Today, we're talking about why AI is not going to take over the right kind of online wellness programs and what those right kinds actually are, because that might be a roadblock you have in your mind as why you might not want to start an online program, or it's unconsciously delaying you or stalling you, or it's coming up as procrastination when you're going to start your online program. You might be thinking, well, what's the point? AI is just going to give all the information away anyways. And why would people buy from me? And when that happens, then you're missing out on, even if you want to keep your in person patients and clients, you're missing out on additional revenue. You're missing out on helping more people, especially if you already have an online presence like on Instagram and you're doing workshops and you want to help, you have a wait list and you want to help people in between sessions, or maybe you want to be like me and be pretty much 100% all online. I mean, we just got back from our spring break trip, and it was really a lot of fun. And I'll give you a little behind the scenes on the McLeans, and when we'll get into this episode a bit more. But the ability to take a week off and not have to, I do a lot of one-to-ones and I love one-to-ones, and I also have a group program. And I just love the fact that I can take a week off. I mean, my goal is at least one full week off every single quarter. It keeps me refreshed. It keeps my mind clear. I come back like rejuvenated. I've thought about my clients a lot on, where they're stuck and how I can help them better, more effectively. I think about my programs. I think about my business as an entirety. I do a lot of time of not thinking at all and just bonding with family. And I have a conference coming up actually that I'm going to in just, a week and a half, about 10 days or so. And it's a working thing. So the ability to take my business with me and then also unplug from the business, but have revenue keep coming in, where March is ending up to be another great month for me. I can't tell you, because I've been really thinking about, as I create more reels and bringing in more of my story and reflecting on my 20s and 30s, because, I'm in some mastermind containers and I feel like I'm starting to be one of the older ones in the room at 47. And for sure, there's entrepreneurs that are older than me, but two of my coaches are, one is 30 and one just turned 40. And I'm like, what did I do in my 20s and 30s? Like, I'm at this point as I near 50 of like reflecting on my life and, what I've created. And I have a lot to be grateful for. But at the same time, there's some areas where, there's a reel out there that's like things that I'm ashamed to admit or talk about. And one of them is my house. I actually love our community. I'm a mile away from one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Actually, my husband and I just walked there this morning. I mean, having a schedule like this where Monday we connect first thing in the morning instead of even after a vacation week, instead of like rushing right into the office. So we went to the ocean for a little bit. My daughter's home on spring break, so the ability to work from home, and she's learning a lot about independence, where she's not in camp this week and she is up in the house right now playing independently, and we've got some projects going on for her. We created a calendar and I can pop in and out and check on her and still keep things going in my business. Is just, it's a luxury, right? And so I'm really grateful for all of that. However, our house is, right by the freeway and it's on the smaller side. It's about 1,100 square feet. And at times I have a lot of house shame, because during my couple years with being diagnosed with Lynch syndrome and cancer, it was right after I had Kaylee. So I was in, new baby phase. We had just moved into the house. So, everything was pretty good. And then, as you know, overworked a lot in my business. And I even, in my 20s and 30s, I did so many certifications, so much schooling, massage therapy. I was just trying to figure things out. And I'm just amazed by people that get it together so much quicker than me. So if you move on the slower side, then just know that all of this is possible for it to come together for you as well. And you can still have goals and dreams. And, part of me is thinking big picture, like with this house, maybe I'll stay here forever. And Kaylee's an amazing school district. So at least until she graduates, and maybe by then Sean and I will just want to retire here. Who knows? Right. But my business gives me the ability to have hope and dream. Well, maybe not. Maybe not too. Maybe I'll open up my mind. I just did a branding photo shoot over the weekend and I rented a house, this gorgeous house with, man, if I had house goals, this would be it. Beautiful house in the inside, just like everything was so thoughtful, like these art pieces, pottery for, kitchenware. Now they have two children. I don't know how they do it without keeping everything so pristine, and this yard and the garden. I'm like, wow, how does that happen? How does one do that? And I think about how, I feel overwhelmed with creating a house like that. And that's probably maybe how you feel about your business. I feel when I come into my business, some days I get coaching, obviously. That's why I'm have my coaches in my mastermind, but I get right to work. But sometimes with my house, I have roadblocks, mental roadblocks and obstacles, and I procrastinate. And I'm like, oh, this is how some people feel with their business. And it's how I felt for sure in my first few years, but I'm now 10 years in. So I have a little bit more, evidence of all that I created that gives me confidence and gets me moving quicker. So anyways, I'm just pointing all this back end out or background out to show you that there's so much freedom and flexibility when you do have an online program. And I don't want you to miss out on that because you're thinking, well, what's the point? Because AI is just taking over anyway. Is it going to replace me? And I get it because every week there is a new tool. Claude gets better. Actually, Claude's having a very off last couple of days though. I've gotten very mad at it. And I actually wonder about like, I see myself getting triggered with AI, right? And causes me to reflect and take a step back from AI because I don't want to communicate with humans that way. And anyways, that's a whole other thing. But for the most part, like the last couple of weeks prior, Claude has been creating these beautiful handouts for me, helping my clients develop frameworks. There's new AI wellness apps promising to give people customized yoga sequences, personalized nutrition plans, nervous system regulation techniques, all for free or, $20 a month. And myself, I use it as speaking of our home. I spent, an hour talking with AI because we're planning on painting and one of our friends got this beautiful Coda painting that I want to put up to remember her by. And I was using AI to help with designing and decorating. So it's easy to see, okay, let's talk about how we can AI proof essentially our online wellness programs so people still want them and realize the value for them even if they do use AI a lot. So here's the question that you might be asking yourself. What kind of online program can AI actually replace? And more importantly, what kind can it not replace? Because here's the thing, and this is what I want you to leave today's episode knowing, is that there are some programs that AI will replace, and there's ones that they won't be able to replace at all. That's what I want you to help. That's what I want to help you build. So, if you're a physical therapist, a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, a health coach, a healthcare provider, someone who's spent years, maybe decades, accumulating certifications, clinical hours, lived experience, just like me in my 20s and 30s, my gosh. And I'm still, doing certifications and learning. And in fact, I'm doing a somatics training coming up later this year. I just finished an advanced coaching certification so I can take the health and wellness board. So if okay, I've spent so much time learning this stuff deeply, clinically, intuitively, your stuff, and you decide, okay, it's time to go online. Time to stop trading every single hour for a dollar. Time to build something that doesn't require your body to be present 10 hours a day just to keep the lights on. Or if you like me and you just want to work from home so you can be more present for your kids. I just think about sometimes Sean and I, he's very sensitive about the hours I work in my business because I overworked so much in the beginning years that he's just very conscious of when I'm working in my business and when I'm not. And sometimes, for example, when I was going through the advanced health coaching training, I was getting up at 5 a.m. twice a week to do these calls that I had to do, these coaching calls, practitioner skills. And we were having conversations and he's like, well, I don't understand why you put so much time into your business, blah, 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 even though he's seen the revenue go up a ton. And I was like, well, listen, if I had a normal physical therapy job, let's just like zoom out for a moment. Like I actually have it really freaking good. Like going on spring break, like Wednesdays, I take my daughter to this art workshop thing that she loves to do here in Encinitas. If I was working in a normal physical therapy clinic, or let's look at my schedule from when I did work in a physical therapy clinic, I would go into sometimes I did 10-hour days. So I'd work like 7 to 6 or something and get home at like 6:30 or 7 or even later with the drive. I didn't have a lunch break really because I did, but it was documentating. Sometimes I would do like a 20-minute walk or do a 10-minute strength training, but it was like there in the office and it was kind of weird. Like I'm an introvert. To fully take my lunch, what I love to do now is go up and make a fresh salad or like a cauliflower rice tempeh mixture of some sort. I love to eat it out in my garden and just replenish and relax and unplug and not talk to anyone. That is so rejuvenating for me. And then when my daughter's home, I can connect with her. We have so many more bonding experiences just day to day because I'm not having to drive to the office and be there during my lunch or get home way later when she's home from school. I'm able to pick her. I ride my e-bike and I pick her up from schools, or I drop her off with my husband. Like all of that, I think I would have had to hire out more nanny help because we don't have any family here in town. I or I would have had to work part-time hours, different hours, and not then our revenue would have been really limited. Paying down my students' loans would have been really limited. Vacations would have been really limited. So I have so much to be grateful for because of all of this. I got off on a little of a tangent there. So we're coming back to the online program, right? So if you are creating an online program and you're considering recording some videos, you make a PDF guide, maybe you put together a self-paced course on hip mobility or stress management or breath work, and then it's low enrollment. And you start wondering, you think it's you, or this is where you have that thought, okay, well, AI is just taking over, people aren't buying it, and you're wondering if you should just stick to your hands-on work, your in-person work. But here's what's actually happening, and I say this with so much love. You may have accidentally built the kind of online program that AI can replace. Generic, informational, purely education, one size fits all, no relationship, no accountability, no you. A PDF on hip mobility, AI can write that. A recorded video on breathing techniques, AI can do that. There are a ton of free YouTube channels, in fact, also doing that right now. A self-paced course with no live touch points, people buy those and rarely finish them even before AI even existed, right? So the problem isn't that you went online or that your topic for your online course, sometimes it is, needs tweaking, but it's more about the type of online program that you built. So what's the solution? If you build what AI fundamentally cannot replicate, a high touch, relationship based, coaching led online wellness program where your expertise, your clinical eye, your lived experience, and your ability to see and respond to the specific human being in your program in real time, that is an experience. And I mean, experience is the key word here that AI cannot replicate. So I think about when I was having that conversation about, where to put the coda painting and, what paint colors should I paint the living room and, just pretty much updoing it. And I do not have a design eye. So I was using AI to help with that. And I was getting stuck because AI was not replicating the layout of my room exactly. We were having back and forth conversations on things I was repeating. Like I would choose the paint color and then we'd go back and do something else and then I would forget the paint color. Like working with a real human, let's say I used an online designer. If I went through their program, which I might do, it'd probably be a lot more effective, efficient. I would maybe I could submit in some of my own thoughts and they could give me feedback. I could get coaching on these obstacles that I have for updating my house. All the stuff that this essentially 90-minute conversation with AI, yeah, I got some takeaways from it that I'll implement, but I think I could have gotten a lot more done and actually have taken steps to start the process if I were in a program versus just using AI. So let's do this AI proofing for your online program as well. And it's not complicated, but it is specific. And it's the thing that can make you consistent 6, 8, and 10K months without having for you to be in your office 40 hours a week, 50 weeks out of the year. Let me break down what this actually looks like. When you build an AI proof online program meaning high touch, coach led, personalized experience, here's what becomes possible. You work with fewer clients for more money. Or if you want to go volume, you can still do a membership style, but create an experience that fully can't be replicated with AI. So you can do high ticket offers, low ticket experiences, but not a $27 PDF or a $97 self-paced course. We're talking $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 programs, or like $149 a month membership, where clients get real or higher, where clients get real access to your brain and expertise, and you're no longer geographically limited. A potential patient in Iowa found you on Instagram. She's very rural and has no providers near her. She can work with you. The yoga teacher in Australia who's been following you for years and wants mentorship, she can also enroll. You create predictable monthly revenue when you have 5 to 8 clients in an ongoing high touch program. Your income stops being a guessing game. You create predictable monthly revenue. When you have 5 to 8 clients in an ongoing high touch program, or you have consistent people coming into a group program. I help many of clients build online group programs, and then they have flexibility if they want to stay one to one or go fully into a group. And here is why you become genuinely irreplaceable. There's 4 things that AI fundamentally cannot do, no matter how sophisticated it gets. And when your program is built around these 4 things, you not just AI proof, you also can differentiate yourself from the free YouTube channels or other programs out there that are more self-paced and competing with AI. So number 1 is community. AI cannot create belonging. It cannot replicate the moment when one of your clients says something vulnerable in a group call and 3 other people say, "Oh my God," too. This happens so much on the 100K online practice blueprint program. The community there is amazing. I really feel that this community is one of the best online wellness practitioner community in the industry. They're just so supportive of each other. They hold each other accountable. They bring up real vulnerable moments, and they feel seen, heard, and witnessed, and they know that they're not alone. That is collective healing. It also allows them to grow. They're not going to be stuck by themselves in isolation with a spinning mind. They have the feeling that they're seen by their people, not an algorithm. This is something humans crave on a biological level. And when your program has that, clients don't just get real results, they stay, they refer, they come back. Number 2, deeper reasoning. AI can give information. However, it cannot think with someone. That's what was happening with my living room experience. I needed someone to bounce ideas off, and it kept like looping and getting stuck. It wasn't an actual thinking, or for you, clinical reasoning. When a client tells you she's been doing all the right things, but still can't sleep, still can't get out of pain, still can't seem to shift her health, you don't just hand her a protocol. You ask the next questions and then the next one, and you follow a thread. You use 10, 15, 20 years of pattern recognition that you know as a clinical practitioner to find out what's actually underneath, where AI has to research Google and more superficial knowledge. It's staying more superficial instead of going deeper. That's nuanced clinical intuitive reasoning process. It's not something you can automate. Number 3, up-to-date personalized knowledge. AI works from data it was trained on. You work from what's happening right now in the research, in your field, in the client sitting right in front of you. You can course correct in real time. You can say, actually, based upon what you just told me, I want to shift our approach. That's responsiveness. Now, AI can do some of that, but again, it's going to be limited because it doesn't have the same clinical reasoning right now, anyways, that you do. And even if it does get stronger there, you as a practitioner will still be able to have that human response where you're picking up on an emotional block or an unconscious block. If, that's how a lot of the practitioners I work with and how I worked as a practitioner was a lot of nervous system based responses versus just giving someone just exercises and a PDF and hoping as a physical therapist, that's what's going to work. I'm also seeing, okay, if they're not implementing their exercises or they haven't implemented their exercises and haven't seen the shift, what really is going on? AI is not going to be able to recognize those nervous system patterns quite that way in real time. Number 4 is coaching the mind. And there's some overlap with these here, but this one's big. Information doesn't create change. Mindset does, behavior does, especially with health and wellness, and food triggers and are just day-to-day lifestyle living. The ability to look at a client who intellectually knows what to do but keeps self-sabotaging, let's say for overeating, or keeps flaring themselves up in a workout, you can say, hey, I see what's going on here, and here's what we're going to do about it. That's coaching. Or asking them like, hey, what's happening? What are you feeling? And help them to deeply process those emotions through. That is human. AI can't hold space for someone's fear. It can't recognize when someone needs to be challenged versus when they need to be witnessed. That capacity, that's yours, and it's worth every penny of your premium price. Or if you have a membership, why, again, all of those, why they'll stay in it, even though if they can get information from AI. So here's some implementation strategies for you today. Number 1, define your only you outcome. So as I suggested before in previous podcast episodes, when you're planning your online program, you want to have it, especially if you're going for a group, a result based. If you're doing one-to-one, it can be more general because you can really individualize it to the person. And again, AI definitely can't replicate that one-to-one experience, but You want to AI proof programs that are built around outcomes that require your specific knowledge and expertise to deliver, like embodying the somatic practitioner work, which is one of the reasons why I'm going through a training with a knot. And if I have manual based practitioners coming to me, that I recommend her program as well, because it's AI can't replicate holding space and doing the somatic work like you could working with a human online. And if you're interested in her program, you can check out the show notes for more information. So I want you to finish this sentence. I help X person achieve X health result using my background in, replace that with your clinical or practitioner expertise, not how I just help people feel better. That's what WebMD is for, or ChatGPT. More like I help postpartum women reduce pelvic floor tension and return to movement using my background as a pelvic floor PT and yoga therapist. Now, that can even be more specific, saying, utilizing holistic, somatic, and nurse based modalities. And the return to movement could be more specific, say, make sure they're always able to attend their favorite yoga class and pick up their children and go for hikes on their friends, right? So you can be more specific there even. But all of that is something that AI cannot replicate. And that's 15 years of clinical training walking into a Zoom call. So when your outcome is specific and the program is built upon experiences, as I mentioned, but above, your program becomes the obvious choice. Or if someone has been trying AI and not getting where they want to go, or trying Western medicine and not getting the results that they want, then your program becomes a no-brainer next step. And you want to make sure for strategy two that you have a live touch point. If you currently have or building self-paced online program and wondering why it's not converting or retaining clients, this is often the fix. Add one live call, synchronous touch point. You can add, like if you have a membership, 2 live calls a month. You can add different types of checkpoints. You can add AI in your program for more touch points, but you do want to make sure that your presence is there. Not because you need to add more to your plate, but because that live touch point is the thing that transforms a self-paced course that AI can replicate into the experience. It also gives a chance for your community to come together and chat with each other in Zoom. My community, the chat is always going off on our calls. It's what makes clients stay, get results, and refer their friends. AI can't do that. It's what justifies the price point. So you can just add one live touch point. That's it. You don't have to overcomplicate it. So I've helped many of my clients build out group programs and one-to-one programs where the touch points works within their sustainable schedule. And then even if they want to keep one-to-one in person or online, they have a group, then they're able to add in thousands of dollars per month more than what they're already making. And if you're able to land upon a niche that just lights you up. One of my clients, she just went from about 1,000 followers. Now she's over 3,000 followers in just a couple of weeks because she landed upon a niche. You can go follow her on Instagram. Her handle is Sharon Carter Movement, of bringing knitting into her somatic work that she does online. And I just woke up to a text message this morning saying she has 16 people registered for her knitting series, which is one of the highest that she's had for a series since I've known her. And it's all because just a couple of reels have gone viral and her audience, gained a couple thousand followers. That's very doable and realistic. And she really excels with this, creating these beautiful programs with, yes, she does do handouts, but she also has an experience that can't replicate it because she's very witty and very smart, and no one can replicate. AI can't replicate her humanness and her humor in a knitting course. So she's going to create a wonderful community experience as well as the knowledge for her knitters so they can knit longer without their body hurting. That is just one example of what is possible. Okay, so here's where I land today's episode. If you're a wellness practitioner, a PT, yoga teacher, massage therapist, a health coach, if you've been thinking about going online or you have an online program, here, I want you to review it and optimize it for these things. Ask yourself, is my program competing with information, or am I delivering a transformation? Am I giving an experience that AI can't replicate? Is the thing I'm selling something AI could replicate, or is it genuinely built around my experience and real human connection? Number two, if you want help building or restructuring that all of this into an AI proof, one-to-one high ticket or small high ticket group program, or mid-range or lower ticket membership style, a client generating wellness online program, come check out the 100K Online Practice Blueprint. This is the program where I walk you through exactly how to do this, how to take your clinical expertise, package it into a premium online offer, and market it in a way that actually converts. The link is in the show notes, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR designed for wellness practitioners who value structure, simplicity, and calm growth. If you're a skilled wellness practitioner who's tired of tech overwhelm and administrative chaos, Jane understands. Your expertise should be focused on client transformation, not wrestling with software. Jane provides the structure and systems you need to run a sustainable practice. With Jane's streamlined online booking, your clients can easily schedule at times that work for them. With smart features like waitlist notifications, those last minute cancellations become opportunities, not losses. It's a simple way to maintain consistent revenue without the constant hustle of filling your calendar. During sessions, Jane's AI powered documentation helps you capture important notes efficiently, allowing you to stay present and focused on delivering exceptional care. After appointments, you can end on a healing note rather than a transactional one by charging cards on file and handling rebooking before the client leaves, creating the organized, professional experience your business deserves. To discover how Jane can help you build a more structured, scalable wellness practice that works even when you're offline, resting, use the link in the show notes. And especially for you, Ignite Your Wellness business listeners, when you're ready to implement the simple system that supports your growth, use code IGNITE1MO. So that's IGNITE1MO to get your first month complimentary. That code will also be in the show notes.